I'm Mr. Hayes. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Central Elementary in Pleasant Grove. We're in the midst of doing our 3 days Battle of Gettysburg reenactment, a concluding social studies activity, but that also involves reading and writing and other curriculum. This got started 5 years ago when a PTA president went around to the teachers with an opportunity for a grant, and I couldn't think of anything to do except what I'd seen on the back cover of an educational magazine where a teacher back east had taken her students outside and tried to walk through some Civil War activities, and I thought, well, that's better than just reading a book in the classroom.
In early July of 1863, Confederate General Robert E. Lee was driving north into Pennsylvania communities which had not been touched by the war. He hoped the show of force would persuade northern politicians to give up their fight to preserve the Union. President Abraham Lincoln, worried that Lee could break the North, fired the ineffective General Joseph Hooker at the end of June and gave command to General George Gordon Meade. He wanted to stop Lee and prevent him from breaking through to the east and capturing Washington, D.C. Gradually, the two armies converged on the little farming community of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. A small force of Union cavalry, commanded by General John Buford, was in the town on July 1, 1863. Buford saw the first elements of the Confederate Army coming and made a crucial decision that ultimately determined the outcome of the battle. Buford saw the strategic value of the low ridges and hills near Gettysburg and arranged his men north of town to fight a delaying action which he hoped would allow time for the main body of the Union Army to arrive. His strategy worked, but many lives were lost as the Confederates' main force slammed in from the north and west. Union forces retreated back through the town but held the rebels in check.
We got all 3 flags! I got yes in the eye.
On the second day of battle, July 2, 1863, General Robert E. Lee believed he could smash the far left flank of the Union line and destroy the army. The Confederate attack was supposed to commence early in the morning, according to Lee's plan, but General James Longstreet wanted reinforcements first. When the reinforcements arrived, it was late afternoon, and they were spotted by Union lookouts on a hill that would become famous, Little Round Top. Union General Gouverneur Warren saw the danger of the coming attack and rushed the first troops he could find to the southern end of Little Round Top. Exposed on the far left was the 20th Maine Regiment, commanded by Colonel Joshua Chamberlain. If they gave way, the battle would likely be lost. Confederates under Longstreet charged repeatedly, but each time they were repulsed by the Union defenders, whose ranks grew thinner with each assault. On the far left, the 20th Maine was out of ammunition when the final Confederate charge came surging through the bloody Devil's Den and up the hill. Chamberlain ordered a countercharge with fixed bayonets. The rebels panicked and surrendered in large numbers. The Union lines held. The Battle of Gettysburg is known as the high water mark of the Confederacy. General Robert E. Lee felt that his army was invincible, and he had pushed into Pennsylvania to prove it. Now he was threatening the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. On the third day at Gettysburg, however, the tide would turn against the South forever. Lee believed he could break the very center of the Union lines with a forceful charge by fresh troops under General George Pickett. Pickett and others, like General James Longstreet, strongly objected to the plan. They believed the Union position was impregnable and that a direct assault would result in an unwarranted loss of life. But Lee, an old soldier trained in the Napoleonic style of battle, insisted that the plan would work. At about 3 p.m. on July 3rd, 12,500 Confederates began marching en echelon, or ordered ranks, briskly up the 3/4-mile slope and straight into the mouth of concentrated Union artillery. Pickett lost 70% of the men in his division. Almost 4,000 were captured. It was the last time in military history that such a charge would be done, and the Confederacy would never recover. Overall at Gettysburg, more than 50,000 men fell. It was the war's bloodiest battle.
The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitors and up with the stars. We'll rally round the flag, we'll rally once again, shouting the